Hello. Right. I guess this is one of those end of the year roundups. I don't know when you'll be seeing this. It might be at the end of the year. I mean, people started dropping these on YouTube from bloody October. I mean, how can you review the gear of the year when you've still got 2 months to go? You know what I mean? I just don't understand that. I mean, Keeley just dropped the rotary 3 days ago and people have already put their gear of the year out. Makes no sense to me. So with that, I'm probably going to wait at least until the week before everything shuts down for Christmas. Why are you doing this then? Good question. Well, it's been a busy year. A lot of changes going on. So I just thought I would do the Matthew Elvis Brown PedalScapes year in gear. So it's not so much gear of the year. It's how gear has shaped my year. So January, well, kicked right off in January with the Ibaye light and the Rode PodMic. Was trying to make some positive changes for the channel. Been trying to incorporate a few different types of things like the studio updates, upgrades and everything, not just guitars and amps and pedals. This little thing has encouraged me to speak to you more, so you can blame this for me being all gobby this year. But it's been nice getting back. You know, I think I said in my first ETA episode about how I stopped talking on videos because I felt some sort of peer pressure, you know, because you see all these videos, no talking. And that's, you know, fair enough. If you don't want a video with talking, piss off and watch something else. You know what I mean? Because that's bollocks. Yeah, I watched loads of videos with talking and I really enjoyed them. I shouldn't be having a whinge here because that's what Elvis Talks About is about. But, you know, you do get that. You see where I'm coming from. I might edit that out. I might leave it in. We'll see. Bollocks, not a swear word, by the way. Straight away, hit the ground running. Ibaye Light and PodMic Pro. Instant change to the content I was producing, having a coloured light in the background and having like the podcaster type mic with a cloud lifter. So yeah, good fun. From that point onwards, it's in pretty much every video, so it's made a difference. And then what else did we have then? In January, in addition to these couple of pieces, there was the Chase Bliss Reverse Mode C rocked up, and here's a little video of that. That's a Chase Bliss pedal. They're a bit wild. They do lots of stuff, lots of textures. They like it when you stop playing so they can fill in the space. It's good fun. Need to RTFM, but who's got time for that these days? Oh, what else happened? Oh yeah. Okay. Also in January, the Muse driver dropped, so that was interesting. The Keeley Muse driver carrying on with their 4-in-1, you know, so you got the Andy Timmons Super 80 and the Robert Keeley mode. Jolly nice it is too, although you would now know it as the Mark III driver because they got some sort of cease and desist on the name later in the year and rebadged it as the Mark III driver, but for these purposes it's the Muse driver. Around that time of year, January, February, We have the January sales, that are the post-Christmas sales. So you have Black Friday before Christmas, prices go up for a couple of weeks, and then you have sales again after Christmas. I noticed a very nicely priced Squire thin line on Amazon, so I got one. The Squire Classic Vibe 70s thin line telly. Very, very nice indeed. A couple of weeks later, I saw for £1 more, I was already on a good bargain. There was the 60s thin line in Sonic Blue with the anodized gold pickguard, another Classic Vibe Squire, which is an absolutely gorgeous guitar. So I went for that as well. So for not a lot more than £500 UK, I got those two Classic Vibe tellies, and they're both very nice guitars. So a couple of clips coming up with both of those guitars. There's a bit of Muse Driver. So this is the 70s with a bit of Muse Driver. There we go. Blimey. Also around January, February time, the Old Blood Noise Endeavours Dark Light materialised. So they announced this in December. I went for it straight away. A stereo combination of Sunlight and Dark Star. Very, very nice it is too. Here's a little clip of that with the 60s thin line telly. Those thin line tellies really, really impressed me. I realised I've put them in the January, February sort of time. That's around the time I bought them. I didn't publish the videos until a bit later because going through all of the studio upgrades and everything else, all of these bits and pieces coming in that I wanted to make some content on. But I'm just putting them back in the timeline. So we're into March really. And what came through in March? Well, that's a good question. I've got those guitars down for March. I've already talked about them, but the other thing that's not those guitars, of course, is the Warm Audio Ringer Bringer. So that lovely tribute to the Moog or Mooga Fuga ring mod. And a delightful thing it is too. So here's a little clip from that using the American Pro telly. There you go. Good stuff. And April was a slightly quieter month. So we had, the Elgato Wave Mic Pro. I think I might have done a video on that. But the thing is, whenever you see the board camera, I'm putting it on the Elgato Wave. It's the low profile Wave Mic Arm or Wave Arm. I can't remember the exact thing. Look it up if you're interested. It's good. It'll do your camera low down on the desk, out of sight of the other cameras mostly. And so when you see the desktop pedal board cam, I'm using that Elgato Wave low profile. And the other biggie for April, of course, was that the Toman 70th anniversary sales. I've been following Henning's videos on that, and in amongst that 70th anniversary goodness, of course, was the Toman Livery Keeley Custom Shop Halo in the gorgeous white with the blue knobs, which I couldn't resist, and I went for that, and it's been one of my favourite pedals of the year yet again. I mean, Halo was one of my pedals of the year last year. It still keeps giving in many different forms, as we'll find out later in the year. But goodness, that white Halo, the T70 Halo, gorgeous thing. So let's have a little clip of that. That was good fun. Sorry, that was good fun, wasn't it? Yeah. After all the activity, January, February, March, April, after or even during, I did a video on gas. I tend to be on the Keeley side of things. That's mostly what I refer to. My good friends from the Keeley Soundcheck, etc. My dear followers on YouTube and Patreon. Yeah, so consequently, I'm rambling because May, guess what? There was no new gear in May. What about that? That's a real achievement for me. A whole month with no new gear. It don't grow on trees, mate. You know what I mean? So, then thick and furious during June. In fact, probably what I did in May might have been set up the Patreon. So I was chatting with Pop's Place, my friend Pops, and he kind of asked me if I wasn't going to pass the hat around. So he kind of inspired me, and I'd been investigating Patreon for some time. So after that inquiry from Pop's Place, I went ahead and I looked on Patreon. I thought, oh, sod it, let's do it. If someone joins, someone joins. If they don't, they don't. So it's there. If you're a regular to this channel, please consider joining. We've got a £2.50 or upwards tiers, so or $2.50. Come along, join us on Patreon. Subscribe to this channel here on YouTube, and yeah, so May, there was some behind the scenes stuff and definitely some studio upgrades going on, which I was sharing with my Patreon users. I've been sharing those updates there mostly. And then June, yeah, wham, opening week of June, 2 new Squires. Oh, been gassing Jones in on a Jazzmaster for some time, and I ended up getting the Paranormal 12, which isn't a Jazzmaster, it's a 12 string in the shape of a Jazzmaster, which was nice. And then about a week later I got the Squire Affinity FSR Telecaster Deluxe in Silverburst, which was nice budget guitar. Some sort of oddities about it. Check the details of that in my unboxing and first play if you're interested in further that. But that then goes to show up in quite a few other videos. I did the video on the 12 string straight away, but I didn't release that because I had a backlog of other stuff. So even though I got it in June, it didn't show up on the channel until, I don't know, end of July or even August. Yeah, then a potential pedal of the year. I didn't buy stuff in May. Of course, Keeley released all the 4-in-1s and they're absolutely gorgeous. And I just didn't have the funds. Absolutely gutted. And then I finally got around to it in June. Potential pedal of the year, Angry Orange. Absolutely love that pedal. It's amazing. The DS1 emulation in that is mwah. And just switching in and out the other sounds so much. Gorgeous thing. So we'll cut to a little bit. Here's a bit of the 12 string with the Angry Orange. Lovely. And from that, still on June, here's a bit of the initial video with the Telecaster Deluxe, the Squire Affinity. Wow. We're already in June, man. I mean, what's going on? 4 guitars. At least a pedal a month. We got to consider the other things going on Patreon, studio upgrades and everything. Oh, blimey. Okay, so July. Well, what went on in July? Well, it's probably around the end of June, but I remember having a video ready to release on the 4th of July to celebrate American independence. Yeah, get rid of those tea drinking bastards from this side of the pond. Yeah. So, what? Do they mean me? No, seriously. Halo core. Boom. The Halo is absolutely gorgeous. I love it and still use it a lot. And I love the presets, you know, having those 8 different sounds and the versatility of that, with the simplicity of the Halo core being in that gorgeous new enclosure. So Keeley released the Beach Boys pedals with those gorgeous new enclosures, and of course couldn't get them in the UK. They were Sweetwater exclusives, and I put them in the baskets and they wouldn't ship to the UK, which is unusual because I've had stuff shipped to me from Sweetwater by Pops with the white Muse driver, which I mention that in January. Pops got me a white Muse driver, absolutely gorgeous. Cheers, bud. And yeah, so the Halo core, I got lost in that for days. Absolutely gorgeous thing. I think that was the pedal for July, and then started applying lots of overdrive and fuzz to my recordings, and I noticed the 60s thin line, the Sonic Blue. The neck pickup was extremely microphonic, so I made some videos about that, and that all culminated in changing that neck pickup out, putting the Mojo Tone harness in, wireless harness. And I think originally I put the Fender Tex-Mex, but sorry Fender, I mean, I bought 4 Squiers so far that I've mentioned in this story of the year, but here comes first disappointment from Fender. I bought the Tex-Mex pickups. What a pile of fucking crap. I'm sorry, but the cable on the bridge pickup, there's no cable. There's not enough cable to run back to the harness. I mean, the whole point of buying a solderless harness is that I don't have to solder. If I wanted to run that black wire back to the harness, I'd have to extend it. Anyway, they'd probably say, oh, just earth it somewhere else or whatever. But I wasn't impressed with that. I put the Tex-Mex in the neck. It was a bit better than I guess they used tone riders in those classic vibe Squiers. I mean, it sounded nice in the recorded videos, very articulate, but a little bit too articulate because it was picking up my voice. But there you go, it is what it is. Sounded a bit better with the neck of the Tex-Mex. But 2 things: the bridge of the Tex-Mex, Fender, absolute pants. And I'd seen other people reviewed and they'd had the same problem, so clearly it's how they come. So proceed with caution for Fender Tex-Mex pickups if you're buying a set. Well, guess what? Putting the CTS pots in with the Imperial shafts meant I had to remount the anodized gold pickguard a bit, which is not too bad, but I got it sorted. But yeah, just be aware of that. If you are upgrading a Squier, putting American parts on, some drilling or reaming or filing will be necessary to make it work. I tried a Perloid scratch guard on it as well, and that sounded all right, but it's not the same. The anodized gold just looks so good. Okay, so that was July. Well, for only one pedal, I've talked a lot about July, and then wow, August. Well, no. Before we move on to that, here's a little bit of the upgrade, the first upgrade to the Squier. Nice. Okay. August. Bam. I talked about Pops surprising me with the lovely white Muse driver. Well, boom, bing, bang, bong, bish, bash, bosh, whatever you want to say. A lovely surprise from Morpheus Millhouse, otherwise known as Mo on the Keeley Soundcheck. Only went and sent me one of his pimped pedals, and that pimped pedal, he knew I'd struggled to get hold of the 4-in-1s. He wasn't getting on with a blues disorder. Well, not getting on with it. He loved it, but it wasn't the vibe for his board at that time. So he posted it forwards to me, which I'm very much grateful for. If you get a chance, catch up with his videos, particularly on the Keeley Soundcheck. Oh, he's amazing. He does these pimp jobs on his pedals. He sources all sorts of like badges and shields to go on them, as well as upgrading the knobs and the nuts around the switches and everything, and he puts dress nuts on there so they're color coded to match the pedal. He did that with a blues disorder that I received as well, so lovely. Pimped blues disorder. Here's a bit of the blues disorder. And after that, I did some more mods on the 60s thin line. So I decided I was going to swap the bridge out and put the Wilkinson bridge on with the compensated brass saddles. And while I was at it, for not much more, I popped a few quid on the Wilkinson pickups. So I changed the neck pickup out for the Wilkinson neck pickup. Did I? I can't remember now. No. I changed the bridge and I put the Wilkinson bridge pickup on. So that was it. That was my upgrades for the telly, and yeah, love it. I will post another vid about that, but before I do, I'll just say the real disappointment with that, the Mojo Tone set was nice, the pots are nice, and you know, it all works. The two disappointments with that I didn't realise when I bought it, the switch is really flimsy. I've spoken with Mo, he's used Mojo Tone before because they're quite close to him geographically, and he's found that as well. I mean, the switch is flimsy. The switch from Squire was more sturdy than the switch from Mojo Tone. I just thought, I don't know whether that was a period correct thing, putting the flimsy switch in, but it just felt a bit less solid than the Squire one, which you'd think it would be more sturdy, or at least I think it should be more sturdy. And the second thing that was a disappointment, I know a lot of people like it, is that, blow me down, it's got treble bleed. I want my, when I ride the volume down a bit, I want it to go a little bit darker. I don't want that treble bleed. I don't want it to keep all the treble all the way down. That I know some people like that, and I've got it. My American Pro telly's got that. I'm not the biggest fan of that. So, but that was the only solderless kit I could find for the thin line, was the Mojo Stone. But there you go, it's in, it does the trick. It's still a bit bright, it's not so microphonic, you know, it's not tippy tappy hello 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 talking to the pickup. So and it's still a lovely guitar. So here's a little bit from that. Wow. And then inspired by Guitar Grottos, that's someone on the Keeley Soundcheck. I remember him posting saying, I'm going to start up a YouTube channel and review pedals, and he posted a video on the Shoetone analog spring reverb and tremolo, and I just thought, that's a really good video, and I'm going to buy that pedal because your video, you represented that product so well. So I did. I went and bought it from Shoetone. They shipped it to me. Jolly nice. I had a nice little discount on that. It was already priced at a discount. It was a very good price. And yeah, that Whirlpool Deluxe sounds like a washing machine in the UK, but it's bloody good. Analog spring reverb and analog tremolo. My goodness. So that inspired me to try something out that I hadn't tried. When I went into wet, dry, wet for my ambient soundscapes, I'd not actually done wet, dry. So because obviously the analog spring reverb and trem is in mono, I decided I'm going to record it wet dry. So I did a couple of videos where that was good fun, recording that wet dry. So a nice little experiment there. It was probably around this time, or June or July, that my driver popped on the SSL 12 and I switched over to the Evo 16. So I went from recording 32-bit back to 24-bit. And I've been enjoying both. Both cards are now working again. It was just a driver issue on the SSL 12. But I do enjoy both. Yeah, the headroom on the 32-bit is very nice to have, but the 24-bit at 96 kilohertz works well as well. Here's a bit from the Shoetone analog spring reverb and tremolo. I love that box. Really, really good. Yeah, it's really good. So, blimey. Well, that was August. We're already at September. What happened in September? Well, in August, the Bees Music did their colorway, the Keeley Custom Shop Bees Music feline related colorway on the Angry Orange, and being as I'm already a big fan of that pedal, I went for number 2. So it was Angry Orange number 2, which Mo had already christened the Angry Orange significantly pissed off citrus fruit. So I thought, as we've gone on to felines, I christened mine freaking furious feline. Here's a little bit of a play with that. Lovely. And then of course you know what else happened in September if you're in the Keeley world. Absolutely mind-blowing. It might have been October for the release date, but I just started getting my head around it in September. So let's just say it's a September-October crossover. It's probably going to end up being the pedal of the year, but it's the Octosci from Keeley. I mean, absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, they've been working hard on this for a number of years, and they are sticklers for detail when it comes to looking after your sound and your tone. Oh my God. Absolutely everyone who tries this is mind blown. I mean, just recently, we're in December now, and only a week ago, Anderton's dropped a little play on it with Danish Pete going, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and Lee was going, "That's bloody incredible." And so even Anderton's was saying, that's, it's so rare for someone to do something new. So Robert Keeley and your crew, thank you so much. I mean, you just put that thing into orbit, and I think that's going to cement your legacy. I mean, you've already got a great legacy from modding to comps and super fat mods onwards, but that thing, my goodness, just using the octaves and the fuzz is just monumental. Basses love it, 12 strings love it, 6 strings obviously love it. I'm sure it sounds great on keyboards and everything else. All of those well chosen subdivisions on the pitch, so much fun. And you've got the rotary dial, and then you can switch from major to minor on. It's just out there, mate. It's out there. I challenge anyone not to enjoy putting that onto perfect fifths, putting it in the up down in the center position, playing into a nice ambient reverb and delay, doing a few notes from a scale, and not just having a huge bloody smile on your face. It's gorgeous. I ended up doing 3 bloody videos on it, and it's like too much material, just because I didn't know how to approach keeping it simple. There's a lovely review by J Leonard J. Of course, he's a master at this stuff, and he just keeps it really simple, but gets all the salient points across and does it beautifully. My approach is, I don't do the homework. But part of most of the PedalScapes, when it's with an unboxing and a new pedal, it's like the first time I've ever used it, and that's part of it. I'm exploring, and you're exploring with me, because you're seeing me experience these things for the first time. The first 2 of videos, not the tracks, those were first plays. I plugged in and just went through all of the subdivisions and tried to change between majors and minors, and it was an hour later, there's a video. I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone else is going to enjoy it. Usually I say turn it on in the background and have it as listening. And I released the PedalScapes as a podcast on YouTube podcast, so you can have the chance of listening. But with that, it might just be a bit too out there for that particular exploration. And then I blow me down. I did the exactly same thing exploring with the expression pedal. An hour later or 40 minutes later, oh blimey. So there's two sort of quite in-depth videos where I'm just going for it. So fortunately, it was so inspirational. Instantly, I started doing tracks again. I've not done tracks for some time, so I would advise, if you want to see my content on the Octosi, then watch some of those long videos. But if you just want to hear it and hear what it can do in a band context, watch my Octosi tracks, because you'll get more of an idea. So there's a sort of poppy countryish one, there's a weird fusiony one, and a rocky one, a straight up, rock one. So yeah, go and have a listen there. And then a week later, I'm trying it on the baritone and getting lost again. It's a beast of a pedal. Octosi, yeah. I think so far the Millennium belongs to the Octosi. I think, we might be starting a cult, forming a cult around that pedal. After all that talking, here's option F. enjoyed that. So, October. What did I do in October? Well, I bought the D&M drive back on the board because Mo had said he wanted to hear a clon type thing in front of the Octosi fuzz. I thought, mix side of D&M is a clonish thing, and it's top loader, so that'd go nice on a board together. So I pulled that out. Oh my goodness, what a brilliant bloody drive that is. I mean, that's probably one of my oldest Keeley pedals, one of the first ones I got. If you don't have one, get one. If you like a bit of punch and to be able to dial in anything from a subtle drive to out and out screaming, seriously, bloody brilliant. Absolutely loved it. So that was good fun. Mo said he wanted to send me another pedal. So he'd had this fun and games episode. He uses the PRS amps, those 20 watt heads, and he makes some gorgeous sounds with it. And he bought a second one because he wanted to run them in stereo. And at the time he bought it, they were giving away a free pedal. So PRS did these pedals in the last year or so, and they were giving some away with the amp. So he bought the amp and chose the pedal. They sent him the pedal, and then he cancelled the amp for some reason. You know, he realised he needed to direct the money somewhere else. And so he phoned PRS and said, look, I've cancelled the amp, so don't send the pedal. And they said, oh well. They sent him the pedal anyway. The funds came back his way and he bought the amp again, so he ended up with two pedals, I think, from PRS. So he had this spare of the flanger, the PRS Wind Through the Trees flanger, and he sent it forward again. So thank you, Mo. He said, I want to see the unboxing of this, and I just said, well, let's do it on a call. You come on a call with me. So we did a basic call, and it's it's kind of like a prototype of where we ended up later. Mo was the first guest on my channel. He was with me for the unboxing, which was a bit mad, and I let him go before I started playing. Here's a little bit from Wind Through the Trees, PRS. And then, thank you, Mo. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I then had another guest slot, and Pops came and joined me. So I thought it'd be nice to get him on and chat to him after he'd sent me a pedal or two. Thank you, Pops. Pops, Mo, and myself decided to get together and try a little bit of a podcast thing. So that's another thing that came up, EMP podcast, Elvis, Mo and Pops. So we've had a couple of go at a few episodes of that. We've had a guest on or two. Struggling a bit with the tech. It's a bit lo-fi, but it's good fun. But we're all very busy at the moment, so on a little bit of a hiatus while we get our stuff together. But it's good fun. Very good fun. November belongs to Zoma. Keely Zoma. I mean, my goodness. The tremolo. I mean, the reverb. Everything. I mean, it's very, very. It's like the Halo chord. It's very simple, but it's just like, oh, crikey. Where did that come from? So here's a bit of tone from the first play with the Keely Zoma stereo reverb and tremolo. Wow, that pedal's amazing. All of it, the sine wave, the harmonic trem, the the vibrato. I mean, blimey, it's amazing. And then a little bit of a curveball. I've had this pedal for years, but I realised that it's been in the Keely drawer and I'd never played it. So I got the Oxblood out of the drawer. I had a Michael J. Fox moment on Back to the Future, you know, when he plugs into that huge speaker and blows himself backwards. Man, Oxblood. I mean, it was so much fun to play. It's got so much punch, so much articulation and clarity. It just grabs you and beats you into submission. And you're really happy for it to be doing that. I mean, I got... that's probably one of the videos where I got most feedback from people, not necessarily feedback on YouTube or even Facebook where I was posting clips. It's more like people would just say, oh, that video you posted, I really like the sound of the guitar on that pedal's really good. And I had that from several people actually, including Mo. It was a chance to give a bit of payback to Mo. So he didn't have an Oxblood, so I sent him one. I think he's close to christening it. You never know. He's got a red blood GE called Reggie. What would he call the Oxblood? Who knows? Orville Xavier Brown. There you go. Anyway, so the other gap, it obviously for the Keeley pedals of the year for me, as far as I was concerned, and I'd been gassing on it for ages, finally had the funds together to get the Super Rodent, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Here's a snippet from my first play with a Super Rodent. Sorry, here's a little bit of that Oxblood video. Wow, the way that cleans up and still just pushes you. Amazing. And that's old. It's an old pedal. Another thing that popped up in November after 6 years on the bloody waiting list. Well, you know, hey, get an email from Analog Man, from Mike Pereira from Analog Man. Oh, hello. You signed up 6 years ago. Do you want a King of Tone? Well, be rude not to, wouldn't it? So I put an order in for the King of Tone in November. It's now, I don't know, it's probably 6 weeks later and I'm still waiting for it. It's been posted though now. It took them 2 or 3 weeks to tell me that they didn't have the chassis that I ordered in. So then it took them another 2 weeks on top of that to build it. Now it's been in the postal system for a week. So here we are, 6 years, 6 days, 6 weeks later. Hopefully it'll come in the next couple of days or so, or I'll get a ransom note from customs. That's what we are accustomed to. Another thing that happened, I really got my gas on, got a hard on for a Jazzmaster. So I was looking around doing my research, and I really like the look of the Vintera 2 with the anodized pickguard and everything, the rosewood fretboard. All of the reviews said how good it sounded. One of them was a bit precautionary. He wasn't so impressed with it. But all the others, they were just like, oh, this is amazing. So I thought, well, that seems to be about the best bet. And the lovely Bax people in the Netherlands had it for a decent price. So I pressed go. 2 days later, up appears a Vintera Jazzmaster. And I had to leave it in a box for a day or so because I had to go and do some stuff. But then when I got it out of the box, the unboxing video that I did for it was just unboxing. I didn't really do any playing. It was titled Jazzmaster Disaster. I mean, the action wasn't too great. It looked beautiful. The finishing on the the coats on the body and the finishing on the neck and the head. So it was gorgeous. The rosewood looked good, but the action was shite. Something you can adjust. The rosewood was a little bit dry, something you can deal with easily. But then I plugged it in and the electronics was shocking. All of the fuzz on the switch, the pickup selector, super fuzzy, and the tone pot was all squeezed up in between 1 and 2 on the tone pot. So, and after all that, with the bad action, I just thought, you know what, I'm paying the best part of $1,000 for this. This ain't on. This is going back. I know some people persevere and they say, oh, you could have put some contact cleaner on the switch and maybe just made sure the tone pot was all done up and correctly. It's a brand new guitar. I'm not lifting this. It should be ready to go, mate. We're in this day and age now. I'd had 4 Squires and they were all pretty much ready to go. Admittedly, I've changed pickups on one, but that's after already deciding to keep it because I liked how it was initially. So yeah, that had to go back, and the lovely people at Bax, they took it back and refunded me for it, for which I'm very grateful. So from there, a very strange thing happened. I was looking at Google News. One of the headlines popped up, I don't know, from Guitar World or something, and they said Harley Benton released the Nashville Nylon Black. It caught my eye. And I clicked on it. And I fell in love with it, and I just thought, okay, I'm going to order that. My new guitar day had been a disaster with the Vintera Jazzmaster. So I went for it, and it came, and I love it. It's a beautifully made guitar, finishing's lovely, plays well, and it's got volume, treble and bass on the electrics with a cut and boost on the treble and bass. Does the job. Just got to learn how to play guitar again now. I've realised it's been so long since I played a nylon, how gentle you got to be, because I'm playing it through a valve amp into pedals and trying to keep it as clean sounding as possible. Any little move on it comes across, gets amplified. Anyway, here's just some sounds from the Harley Benton Nashville Nylon Black. Harley Benton Nashville Nylon Plus Black, and of course there's some Zoma and a little bit of I went for Bees Music did another feline restructuring on the transfigurating fuss with the Octosai. They released the Octopus in collaboration with the Keeley custom shop, so there's a little bit of Octopus on that as well. Absolutely gorgeous, with the little superhero mouse switcher as well. It's gorgeous. It's a little bit of nylon, and I'll try and find a snippet where I bring a bit of harmonizer in as well from the puss. Yeah, got my work cut out with that one. It's going to keep me on my toes. We're in December. My goodness. So we've had the Black Friday sales and everything else. I'm still waiting for the King of Tone. Keely just dropped the Rotary last weekend. I'm waiting for the Rotary. I ordered the Chase Bliss mystery box at the end of November, so who knows what's going to happen there. Keely dropped the Halo Core 2, which is gorgeous. Toman again in their sales. Man, they had that Boss DM101, the stereo analog delay. A gorgeous beast of a pedal that was 450 quid when it came out. Well, they had it at 235 quid, so it was $500. So I suppose the drop 235 is going to be less than $300. I just couldn't say no to that. Analog gorgeousness. So here's a little bit of my first play with a DM101 using that lovely Silverburst Tele Deluxe. Wow, it's an amazing pedal. And then, of course, I got another Jazzmaster from GAC. I bought this is my third Squire that I bought from GAC Gear Amp and Keyboards in Brighton on the south coast in England this year. They had the J Mascis, the JM Jazzmaster on eBay, and eBay were doing an offer with 5% off it. So it was the best price I could find on that. Everyone raves about that guitar. Pops has got one, he raves about it. It was already on my radar in my Jazzmaster hunt, just because it's so highly regarded. Of course, I was holding back to see if I could find a second-hand one with rosewood on the fretboard. But having almost been there with the Vintera and then having it look beautiful but not be up to scratch was a disappointment. So I went for it. And I was really anxious about what that would be with the JM, the J Mascis Jazzmaster. But I got it out of the box, unwrapped it, put it in my hands, tuned it up, and I just immediately looked at that and I thought, bloody hell, action's really down on that. That looks like it's set up and ready to go. I felt the neck of the size of the neck is comfortable in the hand. It is a chunky neck. It's very, very nice. The satin finish, not mad keen on that, but it's getting softer the more I play it, so it's okay. But the satin finish on the headstock, I thought maybe I would have preferred at least gloss on the overlay on the headstock. But hey, it is what it is. The satin finish is the satin finish. The Indian Laurel doesn't look too bad. The fret ends were very nicely dressed. The frets themselves were maybe a little bit oxidized, a little bit rough, but I put a shit ton of fast fret on it just to try and moisten the wood on the fingerboard. And once I tuned it in, I couldn't stop playing it because it was set up really well out of the box, so it plays absolutely gorgeously. Unplugged so far, and I was really anxious to plug it in because of the disaster I had with the Vintera. Very cautiously I plugged it in. I believe I put it through the white Noble Screamer. Oh, that was another purchase I got from Reverb. That was a Reverb special that Keeley had at some time in August, maybe, was the white Noble Screamer. So I was second on the Noble Screamers because Keeley have turned me on to Tube Screamers now and I absolutely love it. Yes, I was going through the white Noble Screamer into the Laney, split in there, dry straight into record, and then the line was going to the DM101 again into the gorgeous Strymon Cloudburst. Well, blow me down. I recorded that last week, but it's dropping this Saturday. I'm on 12th of December day, but by the time you see this, it will have already dropped, and I'll link to it up there. It's a bloody, you know, it was like 40 minutes later. It's an hour-long video. I couldn't stop playing it. I couldn't stop playing it unplugged. And then I plugged it in. I very cautiously went through the electrics. It was fine and clean. It was fine with dirt. Some people said about the Jazzmaster sounding dark. I always thought it sounded a bit bright, but I played that one J Mascis in Regent Sounds in Denmark Street, and I couldn't stop playing that. And I knew I wanted a Jazzmaster. That's why I ordered the Vintera. And then once I got the money back from Bax, I just thought, no, I'm gonna get the J Mascis. I looked around. There was a second-hand one I could have got for £100 less, but it meant I had to go and pick it up and everything else, and it had a few dings in it. I'm not bothered about a few dings in the guitar, but it was just go out, pick it up, travel to pick it up, and then, you know, you get a bit of gear from a not well ventilated house sometimes. It smells like the dog or the ashtray or whatever. You don't want that when you're buying a new guitar, and all you can smell is their dog and their ashtray or whatever. So I bought one new, and it blew me away. In my experience, what people say about how those guitars turn up is all true. And what surprised me was how dark it sounds. Was what really surprised me. Maybe at some point in the future I'll upgrade the pickups, but for now I can't put the bloody thing down. So it's absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, my rotary got delayed, so hopefully that'll be here early next week, and I hope to get that down, you know, just do a quick test with the rotary, so I'll be able to report on that. And maybe my King of Tone and Chase Bliss mystery box will be here by then, so I can close the year off with that. Also, during the Black Friday sales, Tobin also had a bargain on the Boss Slicer, so I bought one of those as well. I'll get that plugged in and give it a try, and then I'll probably go to sleep for 3 weeks, hibernate, try not to eat anything, just because, you know, don't grow on trees, does it? Blimey. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'll come back and close this out with some parting thoughts. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye. So, well, there you go. Blimey, that was more difficult than I'd imagined. Reviewing a year. There's a lot gone on in that year. So, this is the end now, the wind up. I managed to slip in the DM101 and the JM, and the rotary right at the end there. Just got that about a week to go till Christmas now, so everything's quieting down, including deliveries. Once again, I've sent 2 boxes to America. Who knows if they'll get there. Pray to the gods of FedEx on that one. And King of Tone has disappeared into the ether, so God knows what that is. It's been in New York for it's the 18th now, so for 11 days it hasn't moved. So I mean, what's going on there, USPS? I mean, crikey, is it personal? And the Chase Bliss mystery box was very heavily subscribed, so it might take a while for that to come through. I'm sure they're prioritizing them. I got in on the first day, so for people who got in after the first day, goodness knows when you'll get yours. They reckon they'll have the lot done by February, and good luck to them. There's been some nice unboxings going on that. I look forward to my surprise, whatever that may be. So thank you for coming on this journey with me, not least throughout the year and over the years, but on this reflective video looking back at the year of 2024 in music for me, you know, on the PedalScapes world. So as ever, thank you for watching. Come back, watch another video, subscribe, like, comment, join us on the channel, and then also big thanks to the patrons on Patreon, and why not join them for as little as $2.50 a month. You can get exclusive early access to behind the scenes stuff and snips of what's coming, you know, and join in the conversations there. Be good to see you. Otherwise, come back, watch another video. Hope to see you soon. My name's Matt. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.